excuse me, I am filming this on my phone because I've left the camera in the house. But this is the finished double mount for the breaker post driver. John and Grant have done a superb job as usual getting this done for us, just to get it painted and get it mounted on the breaker. This is the one that we went to see last week. Now we're going to go and pick it up. They've decided to make a couple of changes. I will put a picture on the screen here of what it looked like, and then obviously you can see the changes that we've made just to lighten it up a bit and improve the look of it. So I'm going to go organise to get this painted, and then hopefully we can get it done this week, get it mounted on the breaker, and I'll show you when it's ready to go with these two tools as well. Right, I'm back on my usual camera. It is now 3 PM Monday afternoon. The bracket is away down the end of the industrial estate for paint. I'll show you that once Barry gets it done later on this week. The septic tank also has arrived for the workshop, which will be good to get that in. Means we can get a proper toilet and things, start working on that. Next port of call is back over at Hydroquip, where we were about 4 times last week. Pick up one little part to help us, or to hopefully allow us to get the gripper repair finished for the NOX Tiltrotator that we're working on last week. So yeah, let's go over there, get that part, hopefully I can get back, get that all put together this evening and ready to go back to site. Alright, we're back with this one tiny piece that hopefully is all we need to get this gripper repair finished and back to work. Coming in. Just waiting on somebody coming in for a quick meeting that, to be honest with you, I completely forgot about. So we'll get that done, then we'll get back on the gripper repair. Hopefully I can show you around it. Finished, ready to go this evening. Right, very nearly got a rebuilt gripper module. Just need to test that tomorrow. Make sure everything is good before we take it back to site. Which leads us nicely on to tomorrow's job, which is getting our hydraulic power pack put back together so we can use that to test it. In the meantime, I need to go and pick up Laura from the train station. She is actually doing a course between now and the end of the year in kilt making. So she is out of the work on Monday and Tuesday and in Edinburgh doing that. So you go pick her up from the train just now, then I'll get back home and do some more work on the computer in the office for this evening, and that'll kind of be us for Monday. Alright, cracking start to a Tuesday. First up, didn't get my gas delivery because apparently the driver was here at 8 AM, waited 15 minutes, called me, left a voicemail and then left. Anyway, say nothing, so never get my gas delivery, so we're actually waiting on a changeover of welding gas. We don't really need it, but I was just getting it at the same time. Then I figured I'd go and start on getting this hydraulic power pack ready to use, and well, I'll show you the footage, but I thought I'd emptied most of the oil out it. It turns out when I took the side plate off, I very much have not. So I guess we're heading to TMS just now, go see if we can buy a bag of absorbent granules to tidy up that mess. I'm waiting on an inline filter coming. I've just realised there's an in-tank filter as well. I'll need to try and get a replacement filter for that. I've ordered some hydraulic oil, so hopefully we can get that running by the end of the week because of a couple of things that I really could do with it for. On the upside, had a couple of productive meetings and phone calls this morning, and well, the sun's out, which is a bonus for Central Scotland this year. So yeah, that's the update for Tuesday. It's lunchtime. I'm going to go get a bag of absorbent granules hopefully and my lunch, and then we'll be back at it this afternoon. With a pair I spoke to earlier about the weather, and our temporary toilets even blew down the yard, so aye, getting better today, getting better. What do you hear? Come on, in you come. But it would appear we are still needing a couple of pieces to finish off the big hydraulic power pack. I really do need to get that gripper tested, so on to plan B. We're going to go use a little petrol one just to get that tested. Hopefully it's all good, and then we can schedule in to get back to site and get it fitted. Now we know that it works and the gripper is at least opening, and I've tightened up. There's a couple of leaks there just from hoses that weren't quite tight, so I've nipped them up. Let me show you quickly how I've rigged it up here for testing. So while I'm waiting on finishing that big test rig, I'm using the little petrol power pack that I used a few weeks ago. If you've seen us testing out a hydraulic flail, we used the same power pack on it. All I've done is take the two hoses from there, and I've put couplers on the end of the gripper hoses. I've hooked them up. There's a little leak here. I'll fix that in a second. And then it's obviously opened the gripper. Now, two things: I don't have bi-directional control with this setup, so I need to then swap the couplers round to close it back up again. And I've noticed there, it might only because that's the first time I've done it, that the arms opened independently. They should open, I think, at a similar time to each other. So I'm going to swap these back over, close it back up, just cycle it a couple of times and see if that problem rectifies itself. Thankfully, we're starting off today much better than yesterday. For one, the sun's out. For two, our gas delivery actually turned up this morning. So that is a bottle of argon for the welder and a bottle of nitrogen for the breaker regassing. I will need the nitrogen either the end of this week, starting next week for a little job. I'll show you that when we're getting to it. Also picked up the double mount for the breaker post driver. Thanks to Barry at Lanarkshire Bodyworks down the end of the estate for getting that painted last night. And seeing as the sun's out, we're waiting on the two post driving cups, the paint on them drying as well this morning. That's all going on to make the one tool. I'll show you around it. We'll get it assembled here in a bit. And then, of course, I'll show you around it. Thanks to John and Grant for getting them made. Again, I keep going on about it on here, but it shows the worth of having good local craftsmen and engineers that can make stuff like that and you have a good relationship with. They made the mount, as I explained, for the breaker as well. So again, I'll show you that once we get it all bolted up and assembled. We also have a G-Rake to get ready to go out this morning. I need to change the bracket on that. That's about the update and the plan for this morning. So let's get cracked on and then I will update you in a bit. G-Rake prepped and ready to go. This is an ex-demo one, so I've given it a bit of a clean up. Changed the bracket over. In this instance, it's going on the customer's Yanmar SV17. Hoses are on it, couplers are on, it's pretty much ready to go. I won't bother showing you me packing it up. I will show you one of these working. Right, breaker is almost together. Laura's here, she helped get the bracket on. We've got the big post driving cup in it. Just a couple of bits to touch up on that and we'll get that out tomorrow. G-Rake, as you've seen, is done. And I've packed another order here for one of our 200mm log splitter cones. That's going to a good returning customer down in England, so I'm going to pack that up, get it out here, and palletways should be in shortly. Alright, it is 6:30 Thursday evening. Distinct lack of updates for the day. I know, apologies for it, but let me give you the update now. The double pickup for the breaker, Laura and I finished assembling it yesterday, touched up some of the paint on the bracket. It's pretty much ready to go. We will probably get that out tomorrow. That is nothing else actually shipped out today, although we just had a load of deliveries. Another Intermercato grab delivered, this time with a swinging rotator. I'll tell you more about that later on when that's ready to go. That's next to the other one that got delivered last week. Same delivery, got more of these delivered. NOX Tiltrotators. 2 in there. That's part of a 3-unit order. Big one is up by the door. They got delivered a couple of weeks ago. Again, I'll show you them once we get them open. The customer comes to pick them up. Now there is another delivery that's over here. I cannot quite show you. I don't think the timing will work out to show you on this week. Probably will for next week or the week after. But yeah, massive. And the reason that we have not managed to film much today is because that was happening. But all will become apparent. This is hopefully a huge day and a huge milestone and step for the business. But I'm rambling and I'll fill you in more on the details when I can. Laura and I also spent a bit of time unwrapping, unstacking and then repacking the Slanetrac hedge trimmers that came a couple of weeks ago. So they are almost done. I just need to shorten the height of this top rack tomorrow and they'll be ready to ship to the US next week as well. And other than that, I had a couple of customer visits and some more scheduled for next week, and that is pretty much us for Thursday, I think.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I can assure you it might look sunny this morning, but it is definitely winter temperatures. But enough about the weather. We have this pretty much ready to go. Let me talk you around it. It is a GBN 45 TL breaker for a 5-ton excavator. You've seen us do them before. You've also seen us make the post driving cups before. They're made using one of our standard chisels, and then the cups are machined and it's welded to the breaker tool. In this instance, a 225mm diameter and a 125 diameter with a double bracket, which you have not seen us do before. This is a first for us, a double bracket for, as I said, an 8-ton excavator, but JCB 3CX pin dimensions. So 45mm pins, 343mm pin centres, but it means that the customer can pick up the post driver with the top bracket or with the bracket on the front if they need a little bit more height and a bit more reach. This one has been in the works for the last few weeks, so thanks to everybody that's made it possible, to John and Grant for pretty much designing and fabricating the brackets and the post driving cups. It took a little bit of time because there was a bit of design and thought and just prototyping, as I think I mentioned earlier on, either this week or the week before, that went into the bracket. So thanks to them for getting that done, and to Jim, good returning customer of ours down in Telford, for the business again. Look forward to you getting it out and getting it to work and actually seeing if it does what it's supposed to. That's ready to be packed up and we'll get that out today. One attachment order out, one attachment order in today. The breaker post driver attachment out. The order for 2 Auger torque drive units back in. So that's it for orders today. What we're going to get on with though is this hydraulic power pack. We need to fit the new filter housing, but first we need to drain the old oil out, the stuff that ended up over the floor the other day. So Laura went and got me some fittings from Hydroquip this morning for the new filter head. First I'm going to drain out the oil as much as possible into this IBC, all things being well. When I take as much of the oil out, then we can take the side plates off without creating a mess, clean it out and get this back operational again. In case you're watching this and you are not familiar, hydraulic oil should not look like milk. It should not look like that. Saturday evening now. Finished getting the power pack, I'll spin you around, up and running yesterday. I'm just using it on this NOX for testing it out. It works perfectly fine, but the flow and pressure, well, the flow rate is a little bit disappointing, but I'll share some more details on that either tomorrow or Monday. Been in here today, just doing a bit of tidying up, sorting out stock primarily. Hitch brackets, ignore the mess at the moment. needs to get worse before it gets better, I suppose. But all the prefabricated hitch brackets, I'm trying to get them up on the shelf, and working out a couple of customer quotes, some other bits and pieces, try to give myself a head start for next week. So my plan for tomorrow is back in here for a couple of hours, try and finish or make some more progress on putting away all these brackets, try and get some more beams onto this pallet racking, and then give myself a bit of a head start with packing stuff up for Monday. But for just now, as I said, it is 5:30. I'm going home to get my dinner, and that's us for Saturday. Sunday afternoon, and Woody and I are back at the yard in the warehouse doing a bit more, just trying to make some progress. Done a bit of tidying up down in this bottom corner. Ignore the mess in there, but kind of got the hydraulic pack test rig in where it's to sit just now. I know I need to hook up the return filter, I'll do that at a later date, but just quickly to round this off, I'm going to give it a wee test run and show you how it goes. Now, for a bit of context, this was a Facebook Marketplace purchase probably 2 years ago. It'll do a job for us, but I thought it might be a bit better. I thought it might have a bit better hydraulic flow, but yeah, let me show you what I mean. So this, if you haven't seen us work it previously, is a digital flow and pressure meter. We'll just fire it up. I've got it hooked up. Hopefully you can see that there. The top one is pressure, middle one is flow. I've got it hooked up onto the ports of the test rig. So all I've done is make a loop here. There's your flow meter. That's the sensor for the flow and the sensor for the pressure. We've got them hooked on to that. We're going to fire this up, we're going to run it, and I'll show you, firstly because we've gone in a loop, I'll show you what sort of flow it does. Yeah, let's try it anyway. Try and hold this and the camera and work the lever at the same time. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going to work the lever here. Hopefully you can see that. "15 litres a minute. In either direction doesn't particularly matter. 16, it's 15 and a half, 16 litres a minute of max flow. Turn that off. So for context, I mean a mini excavator, a 1.5 ton mini excavator will do more flow than that, so not fine for testing the function of hydraulic rams and things like that. Not ideal for testing hydraulic motors that need a whole lot more flow than that. If you mind back a few weeks ago, I'll link the episode up here somewhere, we brought a hydraulic flail back and we were testing it using the little petrol power pack. Yeah, that was probably similar flow rates, and you've seen how slow that was to turn the flail. So not ideal for that, but fine for jobs like we were doing with the gripper module for the NOX. Ideal for that. So only other thing to show you is the pressure. So what we'll do in order to create pressure, because if you have flow you don't necessarily have pressure, so we'll pop, if I can do it with one hand, pop that off. So we've got the flow meter. It'll show no flow, of course, because it'll come down here and it'll dead end at the end of the flow meter, but it will show us max pressure. Now I have played with the relief valve on this, so it's probably a little bit lower than it would max out at, but let's show you anyway. Again, top number is pressure. $75 bar. Now I'm going to 71 bar even. I'm going to adjust this up slightly just to show you what it'll go to. And I need, I think, 2 hands for this, so bear with me. I will adjust the relief valve and we'll see if we can get a bit more max pressure out. So again, please ignore the mess here, it's still to be tidied up, but this is the main pressure relief valve. So if you screw it, there's a lock nut on there, screw that back, screw the relief valve in, adjusts the max relief pressure. So I've screwed that in a bit from where we were, so let's fire her up and see what it does now. Hopefully you could see that there, 160 bar, which is a bit better, and will, as I say, allow us to test things like hydraulic rams. I have one that's been disassembled that hopefully when I get to it in the future, some future episodes, we'll get that back together and then we can use this to test it out. We do have a NOX in that needs a bit of diagnostic work done, just to try and get to the problem of a little issue it's been having. It'll work fine for that, but it is on the rotation, it is on a hydraulic motor, which will mean it is pretty slow RPM. But yeah, that's what it is for a marketplace find and a bit of work to put it together. I'm happy with that, happy it's in and working. No point in it sitting here and not at least being able to use it. So that's, for now, that's its final position. I'll build up some more racking and things around and shelving around about it to keep bits and pieces and things on it. But yeah, for now, that's it for the hydraulics. Next job of the day is just to finalise up the weights and dimensions of the hedge trimmer shipment. Let's go to the US that Laura and I picked up the other day. So I've got it sitting here above the corner scales. We'll zero them off and then we'll go and set it down on top of them just to get a weight. All the way down, forklift is off of them. Really need to set these up somewhere permanently, but for the time being this will do fine. 900, dust that off, you'll see it, 942 kilograms total. Good, that lets us get that booked in. Hopefully it can go tomorrow. It will need wrapped up and labelled and stuff, but getting the weights and the dimensions will let us get it booked in. So another job done. Finished the day with a bit more organising. All the 30mm pin brackets, top hitch brackets, are now organised on the shelf, organised by size. So hopefully it makes it easier. The 25s as well, as I'm looking at them, 25s and the 30s. Hopefully that makes it easier to identify and pick out one when you need it. And that's pretty much going to be us for the day. It is 4:45 and yeah, I'm going to lock up here and get up the road. For those of you that have stuck around to the end of this week's video, let me give you a little bonus. Take a look at this. The new big rig. This is an MAN 7.5 ton curtain sider that we acquired a couple of weeks back. I meant to show you it, but I kept forgetting before the end of a video, so give you a quick spin around it. This is some properly old school tech, but no real plans for it, to be fair, but it is a 2002 MAN with 30, can you see that? 35,000 kilometres on it. Let's fire up, see if she'll start. Not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool, to be fair. I have no idea, we have no plans for it at the moment. There's a bit of a story as to how we've came to owning it, but aye, if you were in the market for one of these, then let me know. It is, to be fair, it's in good for the age of it, it's in great nick. It's had plenty of money spent on it and anything that's ever needed. No AdBlue, no DPF, old school tacho discs. Any new drivers out there, new truck drivers, you will not know what one of these is, but a proper old school tacho head. And yeah, that's about exciting as it gets. No aircon, but all in working order, MOT'd, tested. What we doing with it? No idea. Let us know in the comments if you have any thoughts. Do we go all out? Do we paint it up? Do we use it for shows? Do we take the box off it and do we put a flatbed on it? I don't know. Let us know in the comments what you think. Or as I say, if you're in the market for something like this, hit me up as well. And I suppose this is as good as any place to finish this week's video. So if you are still watching, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of another episode. Your patience is truly appreciated. Thank you very much again. Let us know in the comments what you thought of this week's episode when you're down there. If you'd hit like, hit subscribe, you'd be doing us a massive favour as well. And if there's anything else you'd like to see in upcoming videos, please let us know in the comments as well. But otherwise, that's us for another week to week episode. I'm out of here. Catch you next week.